guarantee that those tariffs won't increase prices for Americans, including at the gas pump and the grocery store?
I think Americans who are concerned about increased prices should look at what President Trump did in his first term.
Studies have repeatedly shown that Trump's first-term tariffs hit American companies and consumers the hardest, and Trump's move threatening to spark a trade war. Canada's Prime Minister says they're ready to hit back.
The United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. Should these tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures. Measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war. Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. But your government has chosen to do this to you.
I thought that this guy was actually supposed to be stepping down soon. But this is a classic tactic in that when you can't reason or negotiate with the administration at large, you try to reason and negotiate with the people, because hopefully the people will be the one to then put pressure on the leadership to have them reduce or redact the trade deficit or the trade tariffs in the first place. Nobody is worried about Canada. Nobody is scared of Canada. They try to appeal to your sensibilities, and they try to appeal to your people. It's almost like, if you can't negotiate with me, then hopefully you can appeal to my wife, because you're hoping that she's going to come and talk to me and, try to get me to sensibly negotiate with you. But what they don't know is that the American people largely is with Trump. Of course, you're going to have a bunch of liberals and Democrats that try to say,
well, listen, my hope is that these tariffs and tariff threats are leverage that will incentivize Mexico and Canada to do much more to secure our border. That would be a good outcome for Texas and America. Texas does a massive amount of trade with Mexico and a massive amount of trade with Canada. And so I don't want to see tariffs go into effect, particularly not for an extended period of time, against Mexico and Canada, because that would have harmful impacts on the Texas economy. So
that we need to honestly start becoming self-reliant and less reliant on people outside of the United States of America.
Repeatedly staked his tariff threat in part on the amount of fentanyl crossing into the U.S. from Canada, even likening it to the quantity coming in from Mexico.
And if they don't stop it, the tariffs are going to get worse.
But the numbers are vastly different. From the fall of 2023 over the following year, almost 9,600 kilograms of fentanyl were seized at the U.S.-Mexico border. That's about 500 times the amount, just under 20 kilograms, seized between the U.S. and Canada. Overall, Canada makes up just 0.2% of all U.S. border fentanyl seizures.
It's hard to argue with the kind of rank hypocrisy that comes out of the Trump administration. We get far more drugs, illegal drugs, through the U.S. to Canada, including synthetic drugs, than is being sent to south of the border from Canada.